Is communism coming to America if it's not already here?
But when the enemy has a plan, his target is always the church.
See, why is it being poisoned? How are they poisoning rainwater?
They want to control people in such a way where you will have no choice but to say, all right, I guess I'll take it on my forehead.
With what you're playing in The Last Evangelist, I think it really paints a picture of where we're headed. I think some of the stuff that you portray in that particular series is absolutely some of the stuff we're going to see in the near future.
A brand new DVD of Last Evangelist. You can get it right now. It's limited collector's edition. It's got the new episode on it, along with banned videos with me and Michael Lake and Lisa Haven, Sheila Lazinski, and well, things that were just taken down because they didn't like them. But you get all this right now if you call 844-806-0006 or go text the word chosen to 91999 or go to davidheavener.tv/order. Also, if you want to see Last Evangelist, the episode, it's exclusively episode 1 on davidheavener.tv. We're talking tonight with Michael Boja. Michael is from Romania. He was tied up into communism as a little boy for many years. He lives in America now, but he has now gone back and helped the people in the Ukraine because he knows what communism is like. And the question is it coming to America? Michael, you there with me, buddy?
I am here.
Okay. Point blank question. Is communism coming to America if it's not already here?
I believe a soft form called socialism is already digging roots in this country. I think that most people who really want socialism don't understand what it is, and they're unwilling to listen to anyone that's lived it, which is kind of odd to me. Because if someone's experienced something, I have to trust their experience. The problem is we're so self-assured that we can make it work when nobody else could. It's ludicrous. But you know, sometimes the worst possible thing that can happen to someone is that they get everything they want. And I can tell you what it is. It's everything is gray. There is no color. There is no life. There is no joy. It's about survival and nothing more. But people don't seem to get it.
Yeah. How does this work? Because you lived in communism. You came out of as a little boy. How does this work? So now in America, they're giving money to people, welfare system. It's socialism. We do have socialism. It is a socialism system. But how does it turn from that into a gray, dark communist state?
Because eventually you run out of rich people to eat. And so the bar continually gets lowered to what is considered rich. At a certain point in Romania, if your neighbor had 1 chicken and you had 2 chickens, you were considered rich. And on its face, the idea of having 2 chickens is ludicrous. That's not rich. Yet that's the way it works. Because there will always be people screaming, the rich need to pay their fair share. The problem is nobody can define fair. Look, I came here with, I'm not rich by any means. You know, I'd be all excited about the idea of the rich paying their fair share if I didn't see what it ultimately led to. Look at Venezuela. Venezuela was one of the richest country, if not the richest country in North America. And within the span of 2 decades, people are hunting rats with spears trying to feed their kids. Yeah. So it never works. It will never work. Yes, capitalism is flawed. Some people take advantage of the system, but it's still a superior system by far when compared to socialism.
Yeah, someone behind it, someone behind this transformation of the Western world of America, turning it from capitalism to socialism, from socialism onto communism. Who's behind that?
What we have to understand is that when you implement socialism, you become dependent on the government. You become dependent on the system. There are people that have no problem with the idea of cradle to grave. You know, government takes care of everything. The problem is there's nothing free. There's no such thing as a free ride in this world. And so when government giveth, government can also take away. And I understand that right now it's hard for people to believe that it all has to do with the children of God and the church. But when the enemy has a plan, his target is always the church, no matter how far, outfield he starts out.
Yeah.
Eventually, it will come to persecution.
Yeah.
Who is doing it? Look, there are theories. There are groups in the shadows and everything. Personally, I believe that there are nefarious people pulling the strings of this administration. I believe there were people in the past administration that also did their bidding. And the purpose is very clear: to make the majority dependent on government so the people will do whatever they say.
Yeah. I'm going to take some people that have raised your hands, some call-ins, some questions, comments. If you come back with you. Julianne, you there?
Yeah. I just wanted to let you all know that in Australia, we've already been warned that drones will be used, or satellites, to spot vegetable gardens in people's backyards. We're being told that rainwater is poison. We can't drink it. We can only drink water that has gone through certain sewerage plants. So we're drinking sewer water if you're on town water. And they're just doing away with everything. You can no longer sell eggs at a market. Mind you, people gather and throw eggs at the police cars, which is quite funny. I've enjoyed that.
So why are we hearing about this, Julianne, on the mainstream media? I haven't heard
Because
of
you
it.
don't. We've had journalists. New Zealand is much worse than what we are. New Zealand have just been blocked out.
Okay.
Our
Oh, my God.
journalists were kicked out in Australia, on Australian soil. Our journalists trying to go to New Zealand to cover a protest were told by the New Zealand consulate they couldn't get on the plane. And none of that's been reported.
Hi, everybody. I hope everyone is doing good today. Julianne, I am so sorry to hear that about Australia. I've been also talking with people in England and so forth, and they're saying the rainwater across the planet will be poisoned. And that's just horrifying. So we have to do everything we can to filter the water.
Wow. Why is it?
Just look at it in the word, everything.
Stacey, why is it being poisoned? How are they poisoning rainwater? How's that happen?
Yeah. Well, kind of like with the chemtrails and everything that they're putting into the chemtrails.
Yeah.
And with the geoengineering of the weather, how they manufacture, David, they're going to be putting actual chemicals and poison. And I believe, with all respect, they started doing that last year, because I was starting to get sick if I went out and I was touching rainwater. It's just so evil.
Yeah. The water, we didn't talk about that. We talked about food shortage. What say you on the water?
Well, clean water is now a commodity. Drinking water is a commodity. And there are a handful of multinationals that are buying off springs, that are buying off aquifers. And look, I have a well. I drink well water. And it's not because I like having a pump and I like doing all these things, but it's because I know what the future holds. It's about control. They want to control people in such a way where you will have no choice but to say, all right, I guess I'll take it on my forehead. The system needs to be implemented so that when it all snaps into place, you have no choice but to either live by faith or submit.
Yeah. They're already taxing wells. In other words, if you have a well in Texas, they passed a law where they're placing taxes on wells in certain counties. Do you agree? Because I tell people it's great to go to the mountains and to get on well water and get, eat bark and kill squirrels and stuff like that. All that's great. I'm not making fun of it. But eventually, Michael, none of that stuff's going to work, right? The rubber's going to meet the road.
The book says the just shall live by faith. And look, it's easy to take these passages, and it's within the context of the last days, and go, well, maybe God was exaggerating. God doesn't exaggerate. God doesn't need to impress. So when the book says to me, the just shall live by faith, my singular priority is to build up my faith to the point that I know God will provide for me and my kids and my wife. I can do what I can do, but I know my limitations.
Right.
Whether your limitations are financial or your limitations are physical, or you live in a city or you can't dig a well or whatever. So you know your limitations. You have to
Right.
have the faith that God will provide regardless of what your limitations are.
Yeah, like manna in the desert, right? He dropped the food from heaven. Do you think it could actually be that supernatural when it comes to a point where they take away the food, they take away the water, that God can provide for his people supernaturally?
Well, if you have no way to buy or sell anything, if water and food are locked up to the point that you cannot access it, how else will God do it? Look,
Yeah.
in the last days, though persecution will be great, the supernatural power and manifestation of that power will be off the scale as well. This is how the people who were tortured and who died endured. They saw the power of God in equal measure.
Right. And that's why we have to have discernment, the Holy Spirit, because when these miracles happen, we're going to have to know, are they from God? Are they from Satan? Because it'll be lying signs and wonders.
In these last days, people will worship false gods. As the Antichrist arises, Christians will be persecuted. David Heavener Investigates is proud to bring you End Times Investigations, a new DVD series containing over 8 hours of interviews, commentaries, and teaching on Illuminati and the New World Order, Satanism, miracles and healings, the Antichrist, and one world religion.
Hi, I'm David Heavener, and I'm proud to bring you this brand new DVD collection, End Times Investigations.
David reveals how the media is working hand in hand with the Antichrist system. Order now and receive this special DVD collection. Text bonus to 41444 or davidheavener.tv/order. Call toll free 844-806-0006. Text bonus to 41444 or davidheavener.tv/order. Call toll free 844-806-0006.
If you'd like to get involved with the ministry and be a supporter, text the word chosen to 91999. We sure could use your help. And please don't forget my new books that are out, True Power and End Times Investigation. And you can get all this stuff there at davidheavener.tv/order. Don't forget to sign up to davidheavener.tv.